Alright, before we get ready for the beginning of the game, we've had some back and forth messages. We're definitely going to use the mines. That's what these things here are. So when you move into these hexes, you have to stop or suffer some effect. But there's an important aspect of these airstrips and airfields my opponent is pointing out to me, and that is these little airstrips here only have a capacity of 4 air units. So I did have to move an air unit. I had one with 5 on them. There are bigger air strips, actual airports. Here's the biggest one on the map, and this has got a special capacity, but that is Punta Hoot or Hoot Airport. That is a fortified airport. You can see here it's fortified. It's also got a SAM site, and all not air groups are created equal. The ones with electronic warfare or electronic warfare aircraft have that little designation on them. So, and this one here is a capacity of 20 aircraft, and there's also, oops, let me see here. You can see it's got a bunch of airstrips for an airport. It can handle some of the bigger aircraft where F-15s and stuff cannot operate out of some of these little jungle airstrips. So there is a restriction on the type of aircraft that can be at an airport via our slash airstrip. And here you go. This air unit here, I think I had it on one of these air strips that can only have a capacity of 4, so I had to move him over here to air group 4. Now you can see on the allies, they're just air group markers, except for air group number 3 has an electronic warfare unit on it. There you go. The rest of them are just regular air groups. Now, the communist side, they only have 2 air groups, but both of them have electronic warfare capabilities on them. So another note I wanted you to make that I didn't know about. My opponent might know more about this game than I do, but it's nice to have everything pointed out, before you get started. So he just wanted to point out that I was overstacked on one of my air groups. We are ready to start the game. Be back with regular ground unit movement. Now, all units are in supply the first turn, so we skip that. There won't be no damaged units yet to reorganize. And the white markers are mostly guerrilla attack or U.S. phases, and we don't have no U.S. units. There's no U.S. units intervening yet. So our next stop will be regular ground movement for the communists. We'll be back. Alright, we are here in the war room, and hostilities have started. Let's see what's going on with the situation. Here we are. We'll start here in this little area. This will be the before Sandinista infantry moves, and we'll see what develops. We'll be right back. Alright, so I guess they're stopping there. I don't know if they have the movement to get through here. You got to remember in this game, if you do move here to attack, if you move here, he has to attack every, or I got to attack, rather, every unit next to me that's adjacent, so not a bad move. We'll come up here for this next unit, and we'll be right back. Alright, they're moving on up. That one moved from the village of Mataguas to a nice position between us, little victory point, a strategic point there. So if those units want to attack, combat is not mandatory. You don't have to have combat with units next to you. So there you go, a nice little spot there. We'll continue with my opponent's moves. There you go. Nice little spot there. And looking at the board, until he gets his reinforcements, in the reinforcement phase is a long ways away. He's got some nice reinforcements. He's kind of stuck, so I definitely got the advantage. We'll check out what the rest of his moves are, but I was looking at that and what I'd do, and there ain't much you could do. He has got it he didn't do too much down here. These are only units, and there's not many units that are moving, but He is moving in some strategic spots. I did notice that this here is open, and he's got way too many holes to cover. But all of his forces, like you said, are over here in eastern Nicaragua, so these, I guess, are safe. We'll see what goes on with the rest of his forces. But he's moved these units out of villages. Now, villages are worth uh, 1 victory point if controlled by turn 12. So you got that going too. You got to keep that in mind. Be back with the rest of the Sandinista first turn regular ground unit move. All right. Very last moves of the regular units is as follows. There you are. There you are. All right. We'll move on to the next phase. And that's the extent of it. Keeping his little spots here. Like I said, these are some nice towns and ports. So it is probably the same thing I do is just kind of, as I complained about my last opponent, turtle up. I think that's the only thing he can do. I mean, he did move some units out of some villages. Let me see here. It's a town. That's why I didn't move anybody out of there. Let me see anywhere else. He's pretty much protecting his victory point axis until he can get any more reinforcements, or we'll come on up to the insurgency placement phase. And he's got some insurgency units he can place. Now, it depends on insurgency placement points and stuff like that, but we'll see how it goes. But they were the first moves of the game. And the Sandinistas have reacted as best they could. Mostly in blocking situations, but I don't know how much he'd block me. I'll have to find out. Behind the rivers, too. That's always good. So the man does know his game. I don't know if it costs to get out of zones of control, but you got to stop when you hit his zones of control. I know that, so I'll have to read up on the rules if it costs me a certain movement point or something. But I think you can freely move out of one, but I'd be moving into another. We'll have to see what goes on with that. Plus, my air group's there too, so I want to watch out. Don't want to let them get too close to that. We will see what is up. Object of the Sandinistas is to destroy the brown pieces, mostly brown and white. I see. I do have some regular units. I keep on calling myself the communist because I'm used to playing the communists, so it's different for me to be playing the allies. We'll be back with the insurgency movement phase, and I don't think he's got any insurgency units, so we'll be right back. All right, now before we go any further, I forgot that whether it was a clear roll. It usually takes a high roll on the table to get a rain result, and you get a modifier if it's clear to begin with, so it's kind of hard to get anything besides rain. In the campaign game, though, rain really starts coming in here. I think it must be dry season, and then it comes on up to this. I also want to, that reminds me, give you a little bit of a background with this game. Let's do it here. Here you go. Central America is an operational simulation of past, present, and potential warfare in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Honduras, and El Salvador. Before, when I said that this scenario was historical, I don't think this is. I think this is a what if scenario. It did say in there they have one about soccer war and Somoza that are based on historical. And maybe some other ones are, but I think this one here is a what if. So when I said earlier that they might have had this offensive during Reagan's years, they did not, I do not think. And I'll explain more of that here. Each turn represents 2 days of real time, and each hex is about 15 miles from side to side. Each ground unit attack value point, 2 right there, represents 500 to 1,000 combatants. So here it's maybe 2,000 men here. There you go. That kind of helps get a little scope of the game. It should be noted that the unit size of military units varies greatly from country to country, and that troop quality has been factored into combat values. There you go. A half-strength Nicaraguan brigade, for example, may actually have the same number of troops as a full-strength United States battalion, about approximately 1,200 men. Several scenarios, such as soccer war and the fall of Somoza, cover actual conflicts that have occurred in Central America. The main focus of the game, however, is in potential warfare that could have erupted or could erupt between Nicaragua and neighbors. There you go. And earlier, I kind of just casually said Russian supplied aircraft, but back then it would have been Soviet Union supplied aircraft. And also, I want to point out that Costa Rica really ain't got that many troops. So I think the ARDE probably have more troops. So Costa Rica ain't that big of a threat. I think they're more of a self-defense force and than Honduras and all that. So we're getting ready to go on up to the insurgency placement phase. And his units will be on the right. We'll see what he wants to do about that. It cost also insurgency placement points, or insurgency points, and you'll see down here, command points. He don't have that many. So he's going to have to watch it. He's mostly a regular unit army, or I'm an insurgency army. But he does have some good insurgency units, and this top one is the Special Forces. Be interesting to see how many points he wants to use up and what he wants to deploy. So far, not much going on in his initial reaction to the fact that they've had a little bit of a Tet offensive in Nicaragua, where they just popped out of nowhere, and there you go. He's moved some regular units on in. Their strength isn't that bad for this game. I'm really looking at that second number down there. The top numbers are movement. The 2 is their attack, but the 3 is their defense. That's a good defense value, especially behind the river. So hats off to his deployment. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Update on the Sandinista response. Yeah, let's turn down radio traffic. Here you go. Let's start on up here. Insurgency command points. He is down to, I can't even see it. Let's use the zoom feature. 7 from 15. Used a bunch. He only failed one time, and it is almost an automatic unless you roll a 1. And I think one of them was when he tried to attempt a spot in here. He rolled a 1. Even he gets a +1 because all of his insurgency units are attempting to organize, or attempting to place inside their home country. So he gets a +1 modifier. High rolls are what he needs. And on the communist player chart, you can see here, most of them were mountain jungle, and with a +1, yeah, it's pretty much. Now he did get a yes on a couple of them where he had to add a insurgency command point. So he's used up a bunch of his insurgency command points. But over here again, his pile's empty. So here you go. Regular units can create insurgency units up to 2 hexes away, or within the hex that they're in. Insurgency units can also create insurgency units within, I think, the hex they're in or something like that. But once they're on the board, they can create insurgency units. I think this unit here, once he was placed on the board, created an insurgency unit itself. So there you go. Kind of notice this one here. Put his special forces paratroopers right next to my special forces. That was kind of cool. That's a good, wise move. You gotta watch some of these players via my command and colors because they are good. But I like this game better. You can use a lot more strategy. It ain't all card luck. No card luck in this one. So there you go. He placed an insurgency unit there. Insurgency units here, I guess, to protect. Like I said, if I attack here, I got to attack every unit that's adjacent. There's a soak-off rule that my opponent and me really didn't like, but hey, you know, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. So there you go. What else did we do? Put an insurgency unit here in this nice little spot. I did notice that. This was a nice city that was ungarrisoned. So he created a insurgency unit there via this unit. So like I said, units have to, regular units can create insurgency units up to 2 hexes away. Also, there you go. It's kind of beefed up his spot there. And I don't know what's going on here. Maybe a threat to my air unit. Now, like I said, he hasn't crossed the border yet. He crosses the border. Honduran units are in the war. So I probably just be gathering there. I don't know if there's going to be an attack. But that is it for his insurgency placement phase. We'll move on now to the Allied counterinsurgency. Hold on, let me do it this way. Oops. There you go. Allied Aerial counterinsurgency. Now, all I have to do is deliver 1 or 2 bombardment points to a hex, and it automatically eliminates. There's no die roll involved. But my area units are totally restricted. I don't even know if I have. And do I want to waste them on that, or do I want to use them for combat modifiers for other combats coming up, so on and so forth. Aerial counterinsurgency time, and it'll be my move coming on up. This will complete his vlog, and now it comes time for me to do mine. So I'll have to do all these on Vassal and send them off. So we'll be back. We'll call this a. Let me check out. I'll check out my moves here for aerial counterinsurgency, and we'll call it a video. Be back. All right, Allied aerial counterinsurgency is a good mechanic in this game. And the situation I'm looking at, I'll let you go out over here and scope this on out with me. Oh, I'm sorry about that. If I hit that, or if there's a limit. But anyway, Air Group 1. Contra unit is brown. Honduran units are purple, so I can't use them. And the number I'm looking for is that 0 beneath the one with the white box. One with the white box is its transportation capacity. So he has no attack factors but a 40 hex range. Air Group 2, same thing. It's a transportation ship, or transportation aircraft. The rest are all Honduran. Air Group 3 is my key. Not only do I have a CIA electronic warfare unit that can absorb hits if I have them go with my units, but that it's also, if they're within range of any other air groups, we can have joint air missions, which don't really affect us now. But let me look underneath here for real quick. We have a bunch of Contra AC-47 gunships. They definitely can eliminate, dissuade locals from joining the Sandinista cause by delivering some ordnance into the hex. We have 1, 2, 3 of these here. Now that is an automatic elimination of units. I mean, I won't get no victory points, but here's what's going on. Here's our air group. Now once this air unit, if I take my AWACS and he goes with them on this air mission to eliminate some of these Sandinista insurgency units that are forming, he goes into the use box, and this marker here gets flipped over to just air group, not air group plus electronic warfare, or early warning, whatever you want to say that EW stands for. So another thing is here, I'm going to zoom in here, these little teeth you see here. There's a range of the Sandinista Masaya complex. There it is right here, Masaya complex. That's a big radar complex there. You can see the range of that thing goes all the way out to the country. Good thing for us, though, it stops right here. Our little Air Group 3 has a nice little spot in here. Now, we can get detected within the air group units here, but this is only a 3 hex range. All right, Masaya, 10 hex, or 10 or 20 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. These represents this 10 hex range, 3 hex range. So pretty well can move outside of here as long as they don't fly over a unit unmolested. Really give me a chance to take out these 3 units. I'll have to look at what the prerequisites are, but all I have to do is deliver a certain amount of ordnance, and these guys go back into the insurgency placement pile here in their phase as available units. And you would have wasted all those insurgency placement points, or rather insurgency command points. Drawback, once those units are used, they go into the used spot, and I can't use them for combat support for any combat. So there you go. Decisions to be made and strategies in the opening salvos of the Contra Drive. A what if scenario. We'll be back.